Hush, baby, don't talk so much. Does it gotta rush? If you wanna come and play, you could do it my way, my way, my way. Hush. See, I did a little sound effect too. Hey man, what's going on, y'all? Here's 122, live on the scene. Germ so true. Vic Jr., Mo Schefter in the background. Uh, fellas, how we doing, man? What's going on?
Everything good, bro. Can't complain, Hustling. Just got home about an hour ago to get ready for our beautiful show that we do. Um, and watching some Titans Ravens football, man. I mean, you were just talking about it. It's time for the Titans to make some big changes at that quarterback position, man, because that team has a good roster to be being wasted away, and they've had a decent roster for a few years now, Germ. So,
I mean,
Germ.
this
So,
is this was so crazy, right? Dr. Robotnik. I call him Dr. Robotnik because you can hear the gears change when he be moving and changing directions. Derrick Henry, say what you want to say about him, but he's extremely gifted at being able to put his foot in the ground and accelerate to be 6'4", 250 pounds.
yeah,
He's a specimen. But the beautiful thing here that I really want people to understand about this game is not only is he exceptional at what he does, if he had a quarterback, he would be even better because he would see lighter boxes.
yeah.
So
Oh,
you
and
can
I
go ahead.
haven't. I mean, I haven't been able to really study the Tajay kid, obviously out of college. But he looks like a very explosive runner too, in terms of his speed. So like, we know that Derrick Henry kind of needs like a little runway to get started. But once he does downhill, like that's when it's tough for him to be stopped. With that size, Tajay gives them more of that lightning. That quickness, quick acceleration off the line of scrimmage, or out of the backfield, and so they have a good combination there. He's been getting a lot of touches, Jerm. I don't know if you've seen the ratio, but last week they had the same amount of touches.
Yeah,
So the Titans really like this kid. And I mean, yeah, what was really holding them back is just but we need better play at quarterback.
yeah. This is bad. It's pretty bad. When I say it's pretty bad, I'm talking about it's exceptionally bad. Like watching this game, they are a quarterback away from probably being tied or up. Defensively, the Titans have done everything they can.
Yep.
I don't know what else. I mean, if they make another play or two here, then they probably win the game at this stage. But I don't know, man. I think it's crazy, man. This is just one of the things where it's a quarterback driven league, but your quarterback doesn't have to win them. They just can't lose them. I don't know any other way to say it. Game management is not a negative thing. Game management means you do
Just
enough. You do enough for your team to be able to be successful.
yeah. So you get a scoring drive out of the when you come out of the second half there, and then you get another opportunity. With a third and out, you get another opportunity. You go two straight runs, right? So Tajay was able to get a first down. Derrick Henry is only able to get 9 yards on the next run. Um, I kind of lost what happened there. I think. Oh, he then gets stopped, but it's still he just gets stopped short. It's still 3rd and 1. You running the ball again, or you're trying to throw a deep flag route with a quarterback that's. I mean, of course, that's Tannehill's decision to make, but he's just that's just not some of the plays that he can make. I'm running downhill again with Tajay, or with Derrick Henry or Tajay on 3rd and 1 again. But
Either
it's
that,
the
either
NFL,
that,
man.
or you do some type of design motion where you can create a first down,
Yeah.
a quarterback friendly play.
Oh boy.
These are the type of things that we go through, but it is what it is. So, something real quick that we're gonna dive into real quick, Vic. Just me and you, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Players, ex-players, the chitter chat that we have in between, the games, the teams, and everything else like that. Vic, I think that the hardest thing for us to do is allow old players to talk about new players because we it's hard to have that conversation because the game obviously has changed. The game is different, but also old players feel like their era is the best era. The new players are like, "No, son, y'all really were so slow. Y'all were really slow and sorry."
That's funny, Jared, because shout out to the 94 Feet of Life fellas. It's like that was always like an argument back and forth with basketball. Whether the older era is the better era, this, that, and the other. And it's now like all of a sudden, the NFL older players are like, kind of going at the younger kids, recently and stuff like that. Trying to compare situations and eras and stuff like that. The Steve Smith story with Jerry Jeudy was pretty funny. I don't know if you're alluding to that one or the Rodney Harrison situation to Zach, which was not funny at all. Maybe I'm picking and choosing here, but I think
it was definitely cringy.
No, that was so Steve Smith. I don't know if anybody saw that segment. It was funny. It was entertaining. How Rodney Harrison went about trying to put Zach Wilson down was pretty cringe. And shout out to oh my God, Chris Jones for doing what he did. And just say that.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
He was like, y'all gotta say this dude's garbage.
But did you watch the film? I know you saw the film and you said he was, and I'm pretty sure you said in your mind that he was garbage, right? Right? Like kept trying to force it down his throat. And Rodney, that's not it.
But the reason why he didn't say that is because obviously on film they still have to game plan and prepare for him.
Yeah.
Because if you give him the things that he does well, see, this is why we say the best in the world, the best all time. There's a gap, right? Because the goal is always to do what? To take away what a player does well to make them do what? More things that they are not accustomed to doing,
right?
Which alludes to you being able to have something that you can hold over their head on a Sunday to make them have to do. And I just think at the end of the day, if Zach is not the best quarterback in the world, that's fine. But the organization he plays for has to take a part of that.
Yeah.
Have they put him in a position to win? You don't get drafted number 1 or number 2 overall and then just go to a great team.
No.
So
yeah, I'm sorry, I had to process that for a second. Yeah, most likely you're picking in the top 5 is because you're
terrible.
Bad. And then if you're consistently picking in the top 5,
you just got a bunch of non-knowing how to play, non-knowing how to win, mother suckers.
Yeah.
So I think that's the key. I think more than anything else, that's really what the key is when it comes down to it. So my thoughts real quick on the Steve Smith situation. I think Steve is Steve.
Yeah.
But what I do think though is Steve is one of the 5 or 6 people that I would listen to talk about wide receivers because he actually lived and breathed the position. If you wanted to talk about a wide receiver as a trade, Steve Smith built that mother sucker and was a part of the people in the framework of like
you could be small and do this.
Yeah, he was a journeyman receiver. He was a professional receiver. If you don't respect, listen, I don't know too many people that I could say this about, but Steve was so good at everything that had nothing to do with being explosive. There's film out there of him and Talib having a battle.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting the best of Talib, and Talib is 3 times the athlete he was.
Yeah.
Hakeem Talib was 6'2", 6'2", 200 pounds, 4'4", like ideal guy.
Yeah.
Only athlete at cornerback that I like more than him was Antonio Cromartie. But he
Talib
was
was fun.
6'2",
Yeah.
but 6'2", 4'3" speed with all the short area quickness was Cromartie and all the frontline speed. But then you get Talib, and he's just as good. Neither here nor there. But the point I'm making is Steve Smith worked everybody. You knew you played him every single week.
He was my, when I was a Cowboy fan back in the day, back in my history. You know what I'm saying? Steve was my favorite non-Cowboy, man. It was really fun to watch how small, 5'9" receiver can elevate the way he did. But you're right. I mean, the dude was technically sound, ran his routes well. Like he wasn't exactly explosive, like you said, but somehow he got downfield, deep downfields, almost like Chad. Chad wasn't the fastest receiver, but they knew how to be open, and then you got to be open if you had Cam Newton as your quarterback for most of your career. You know what I mean? And Jake Delhomme, before that. So, yeah, Steve was a legend, man. So Steve has always been a petty dude. But he has the right he has a right because he earned it too at the same time. So Jerry Jeudy got to step up his game, man, because that was a kid that we really like coming out. He's an Alabama product, and when you're from Alabama, you must know how to run your routes. And I'm pretty sure Jerry does know how to still run routes. What else is he doing wrong? I don't know. I gotta watch the film on him. And there's just so many players to watch film on. It's tough to keep up nowadays, especially if we busy,
There's no point to watch the film. Just throw the whole Broncos tape away. Just burn it. Burn it.
I figured. Let me change the lighting here a little bit, fellas. Go ahead.
So nice of you to join us.
Yes, I'm here. Some technical difficulties, but we here. We got about 42 minutes to kick off. I do want to set some of my FanDuel lineups as well. Can you hear me just fine?
Absolutely. You're perfect. Question.
Perfect.
Here's the question, and I'm going to pose this to you before we jump into everything, because we're going to go rapid fire anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee. Do we just say, you know what? Do we take a 2 sticks of C4 and put it on the building and say tick 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 boom? Or do we take a 9-iron and do we just swing for the hole in one and go try to get a quarterback at number 1 next year?
That's tough because obviously I haven't seen enough from Malik to say this is your guy moving forward. But you also look at it as I'm gonna give you my quickest answer, but you got to allow me to elaborate tomorrow night. My quickest answer, because we are short on time, is there's a possibility Tannehill is good enough with the roster that they have and the seemingly new era of football that we're in, and I use that in quotation marks. So if I'm Tennessee, I'm staying the course with the understanding that I'm good enough to beat any team in the AFC. Am I good enough to beat the teams in the NFC? Because the Titans are built to beat every team in the AFC. They are not built to beat San Francisco, to beat Dallas, to beat Philly. So I would stay the course with the expectation that, you know what, I can get to February and then anything can happen in one game. That's my honest, quick opinion. But you got to allow me to elaborate tomorrow night.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You're not as deep in the draft as German I may be, but there's some really good quarterbacks coming out in this class.
I understand that.
You got Caleb Williams from USC.
But you also have a shot at a title this year.
Oh, well, then, yeah.
No, you don't.
That's why I said, let me elaborate tomorrow night.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Let me elaborate tomorrow night, John.
Do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see this, SH? Oh, man. Oh, man.
All right. Yeah. So y'all, God, okay, let's just get into the games. We're going to go through the games quick, and then we'll get into some fun stuff. Give us some time. This is going to be the quickest we've ever gotten through games, okay? These first set of games are all going to be rapid fire, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4 games, really 3 games that we could talk on just a little bit. So let's get going, Jeremy, if you're ready. Okay, with the red cup. All right, let's get going. The Commanders at the Atlanta Falcons, over-under is 1.5. 42.5 is the over-under is 42.5. The spread is only 1.5 favoring the home team Falcons. I think last week was somewhat of a coming out game for I don't know why I'm using quotation marks so much, but somewhat of a coming out game for Desmond Ridder. He remains an enigma, but we will see how he does moving forward, how this whole Falcons team can keep progressing. I'm going to be honest, I like Atlanta with this one. I just think they found something and they're going to keep working on it and see how they can improve it. And the Commanders, I mean, they're going to compete. They're going to play defense. But in the end, I just think Atlanta feels a little better right now. I'm going to take Atlanta with the same score as last week, 21-19. Vic?
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta too. Again, I'm not into the Vegas stuff part of it, but I think Atlanta, just a stronger football team, a better running team right now. Both teams do run the ball fairly well, but I think Atlanta just has the best balance right now between their 2 running backs in Algier and Bijan Robinson. Outstanding duo back there. And I mean, Desmond Ridder has kind of, stepped his game up as well. So I'm taking the Falcons in this one.
Commanders. Commanders. I'm gonna take the Commanders for the reverse reasons of why y'all took the Falcons. Because I'm definitely not trying to buy Big Shot that jersey. Shout out to Big Shot. And I just want to make sure that we make a statement right now, Commanders, that our quarterback is better than Desmond Ridder, because that's what we need to be doing. And then another thing, the Falcons, I want y'all to prove again, reading 365,002 of why y'all ain't SH. So give me the Commanders with a score of 24-16.
Like it. Next on the dock, you got the Panthers at the Miami Dolphins. Over-under is 47.5. 14.5 points. The Panthers are getting. Let's
just take the points. Let's take the Dolphins.
So you think Carolina will lose by less than 2 touchdowns?
I think they will lose by 14 points exactly.
Okay, Vic.
Yeah, I mean, I agree there. I guess a little later we'll talk some fantasy matchups in this game. But
yes,
Panthers probably lose by 17.
Vikings at Bears. Vikings are 3-point road favorites. There's no Justin Jefferson in this one, but that young kid Addison, he might have some targets fantasy wise.
Yeah,
I am going to go with the Vikings to win this game by a field goal. Vic.
I like the Bears in this game. I think like Justin Fields so far has back-to-back great games, and they might have woken up a little bit. The coaches are letting him play a little bit more relaxed, so I think the Bears can pull this one off. Justin Jefferson is a big loss. He's one of those few receivers in the league that you can say is a big loss for an offense.
I mean, on the flip side for the Bears, they don't have Khalil Herbert today either. Jerm?
Give me the Vikings, because I don't trust Justin Fields, and Justin, I can't see the field, is not going to be my quarterback on any Sunday, so that'll be that. But the real reason why I would prefer the Vikings is because the Vikings should be able to do something still with Hawkinson and being able to move the ball. Give me the Vikings 20, 4 to like 9.
I never wanted the Bears to win so much now. Let's go.
I mean, listen,
Chi-Town.
was it how many points are the Vikings scoring, Germ?
I said 24.
Oh, okay. Got you. Next game on the list, you got the Saints at the Texans. Talk about CJ Stroud. I just think this is a bad matchup this week, Vic, for the Texans. I think they're gonna play them well. But I just think it's a bad matchup. Give me Saints 22-17.
Yeah, I mean, CJ's been great. He's been picked up now in a lot of fantasy rosters now because people are kind of being hip to his game lately. But yeah, don't start him this week. It's going to be a tough matchup for them. Might be a low scoring game. I'll definitely go with the Saints though. I just think they got more of a veteran team against this young Texas team, so I'll go with the Saints.
Germ.
Well, with the Mardi Gras, let's do it.
Next game on the docket, you got the New England Patriots at the Las Vegas Raiders. You got the Junior Patriots versus the Senior Patriots. And Junior's right now looking a little more modern, where Senior looking like it might be time to go to a community home.
My God.
I'm not trying to be that mean, but this is an embarrassing football team. And one thing I never thought I would say about a Bill Belichick team is that it is an embarrassing football team. But that's really what's happening. They're shooting themselves in the foot, a lot of turnovers, sloppy play, you name it. I'm sorry. I hate to do this. I'm going with the Raiders. The Raiders seem to find like they got something going. They got an identity coming. Devontae Adams will be utilized. Don't worry about what happened last week, but they seem like they have a flow, an identity, a system. And honestly, the biggest difference I see right now is they have a leader. I don't see a leader in the Patriots locker room, which is insane to say. And that leader is Devontae Adams, by the way. Vic, I'm going Raiders by 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the first time we see such a weakness from a Bill Belichick coach team. I think that continues in this matchup as well. Vegas, like you said, they just been picking up their game. So another veteran team. So yeah, I'll go with the Raiders. I think it's gonna be tight, but I'll go with the Raiders.
Jeremy?
Raiders.
Next game you got, by the way, I wanted to say Tank Dell is out and Robert Woods is playing, fantasy purpose for the Texans, but either way, that might be my sit of the week. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Cardinals at Rams. Look, I think you saw the Rams offense is just different with the baddest white man to ever lace him up playing. I said what I said, not counting quarterbacks. Give me the Rams. I think the Cardinals are a decent football team, but like we saw with the Bengals, where it's kind of a get right game, and they did get right. I think something similar would happen here with the Rams. Sorry, AZ. But give me the Rams. I'll say 28-19. Vic?
Yeah, I mean, I think Arizona's going to score some points. Again, we're going to talk about it fantasy. I got a couple offensive players from Arizona, believe it or not, for this week. But yeah, I mean, the Rams just a better football team.
Yeah.
I see something 28-24, roughly around there as well.
Germ?
Give me the Rams. I mean, it's really self-explanatory.
All right. Next game on the docket, you got the Eagles versus the Jets. It's simple, man. They're going to kick their ass. Give me the Eagles by a lot. Vic?
I actually got Jalen Hurts on my not sit, because you're not going to sit him, but one of those like don't expect too much. I think the Jets defense are gonna do better against the pass than against the run. So the Eagles might run the ball a little bit more today. But I mean, I could be absolutely wrong on the flip side. Give me the Eagles win the game though by like 3.
Germ?
See, this is one of them games where I could say it could be a trap game because the Jets can play enough defense to make this bad, and they can play enough defense to turn it into offense, or the Jets defense can be good and still get slaughtered. So with that being said, it's just a bad situation to be in. Give me the Eagles by 3 points, and I want the under. I want about 40 points total in this game.
Interesting. Okay.
So like 22-18.
Sunday night game is the Giants and the Bills. We were hoping it would get flexed. It's not gonna get flexed. Tell you the truth, I'm gonna keep it real. It's actually more exciting to have Tyrod Taylor as a starter tonight than Daniel Jones. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like I'm gonna tune in just to see Tyrod Taylor for a little bit. If he looking slow, then I'm gonna do something else on my time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, if he looks like he's on his game, and if it looks like the Bills are off their game, I might watch it. But if it was Daniel Jones, I wouldn't have even tuned in at all. Either way, I still think the Bills should win this game handily. So give me. I'm gonna say 40-20. Vic?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Bills should obviously dominate this game. Again, if they want to be one of the best teams in the league, they should be able to put the Giants away. Definitely going to be a boring game. Saquon is still questionable for this game, so for fantasy purposes, it's time to make some decisions because I'm sure people got players starting at the 1 and 4 o'clock slot. So I would say that Saquon, even if he plays, gets very limited touches just to protect him for the rest of the season.
Germ?
What I would say that makes the most sense here is it's obviously not anybody else that I'm gonna pick other than the Bills. Bills could be dollar bills, $20 bills, $50 bills, and that's probably the problem with the Bills because we don't know which bills they are going to be. You know, I'm hoping that we're hoping that they're $100 bills this week, right? Give us the bills.
All right. So this next game, you're probably wondering why I'm putting it with the three other games that we're going to talk about, but there's a reason. It's the San Francisco 49ers at the Cleveland Browns. Over-under in this game is 35.5. San Francisco is 9.5-point favorites. And obviously that's because Deshaun Watson is not playing. So on the one hand, okay, good thing you're protecting him. Good thing you're leaving him another week. Because realistically, you probably wasn't going to win this game anyway. However, the flip side of it is, well, let's see how our best looks against the NFL's best. And that would have been nice to see. So fine, you're giving up this game to the San Francisco 49ers, no problem. But you're not beating Indianapolis next week without Deshaun Watson. Vic, he's got a shoulder contusion or a rotator cuff contusion. Do you expect them to kind of keep him on the sidelines a little bit longer, or are you expecting him to come back and play next week?
I was hoping he was ready after the bye week, but you know, clearly he's not. There would have been a great matchup this week. I think could have been the toughest matchup for the 49ers thus far. But I mean, yeah, they just don't have a backup that's capable enough to win this league. So, you know, of course I picked the 49ers, but Deshaun, I mean, you know, of course it's on his throwing shoulder, so it's a very sensitive situation right now to see, and I think it's just a week-to-week injury right now with them, because he could wake up Wednesday and feel great, you know, and get ready to practice, you know. So the rotator cuff is a very, very sensitive part of the body, man. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on in there. So I'm hoping he's ready soon because Cleveland, they're fun to watch when everybody's healthy.
Jerem, question to you is, do you see any way where the Cleveland Browns defense can slow down this 49ers offense, dare I say make this a relatively competitive game?
They have the players on defense to do it, right? But the problem is San Francisco's offensive line has been notorious of just showing up every week consistently.
Yes.
They're the most consistent group in the league.
Eagles in that conversation, but yes.
Them and the Eagles, the most consistent groups every week.
Agreed wholeheartedly.
So it's just like, how can you ever bet against them? And you know that means Big Trent is going to be with Miles today.
Listen, I know Trent is a bully, but Trent is also a smart man, okay? Like, you could block him, you could fight with him, all that. But that extra stuff Trent does after the snap, that's not going to fly with Myles Garrett. I don't think Trent will do it, okay? I don't. But we talk about a man who does fake dribbles and fake crossovers pre-snap. We talking about a man that has freakish athleticism. We talking about a man who swung another helmet at another man, his own helmet. I'm just saying, it's going to be a good matchup. But Trent, Miles is not the one you want to walk up on. That's a light bar. Light bar. Light.
So I just think this is the game of I want to see what's going to happen. I'm going to pick San Francisco, obviously, too.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you all the truth. If anybody can make this game interesting, it's the Cleveland defense. That's all I can say. Jim Schwartz can. That's the only person. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Hey man, shout out to everybody in the comments. Jaquan, Tanya, as always in there. Dennis in there. KG in there. Jeffrey Harmon. Shout out to the Cowboys fan kingdom. He says Vikings are maybe 2 weeks away from the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Honestly, unless they trade Kirk Cousins, that's the only way I can see them being in the sweepstakes, which is if they trade Kirk Cousins midseason, they basically telling everybody, all right, we're moving on. So I don't think that's going to happen. And I think they're going to tell you the truth, Jeffrey. I don't think they're going to be in the sweepstakes at all because I think they're going to win enough games where they're going to be in the playoff hunt by end of November, and they're going to try to win it. They're going to try to get in the dance. As we know, Kirk Cousins, man, he's going to do just enough. Next game might be my favorite game of the week. And no way in hell would I have said that at the beginning of the year. It is a AFC South showdown. The Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars, over under 43.5. The Colts, 3.5-point road underdogs. Just a couple of things I want to say about the Colts real quick. This is a good football team, man. Number one, they still have Quentin Nelson there. And he's still probably the baddest, not the baddest, but he's a bad man, and he's a dirty man. He's gonna get in there, he's gonna punch you, he's gonna scratch, he's gonna claw. And the one thing for sure he's gonna do is make some holes available for his running back. That's just for sure he's gonna do that. He did a great job a couple weeks ago on Jeffrey Simmons. Overall, just comes in weeks in and week out. Vic, you got a confused look on your face. Am I saying something wrong?
No. What was the name on that? I'm sorry.
Quentin Nelson.
Quentin Nelson, yes.
For the Colts?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
all right, cool. Another thing I'll say about them is they got two running backs, Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor now.
We'll be talking about that.
I'm gonna let you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I believe it or not, Vic, y'all gonna laugh at me, but a big difference in the Colts is they actually have stability at the kicker position right now, which they haven't had in a while. Believe crazy as that sounds. Yeah. But Matt Gay is he hit 350+ yard field goals against the Ravens a few weeks ago when they beat the Ravens. When Gardner Minshew came in. I know you want Anthony Richardson to play. I understand it. I know you want him to play. But if I'm the head coach, I'm like, yo, AFC is up for anybody right now.
Yeah. And
we can beat anybody with Gardner Minshew. As crazy as that sounds. They're probably not going to beat the Chiefs, but they can beat everybody else.
Right.
So, and then the Jaguars, a lot to say there, but I'm going to leave it at that. Vic, go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Gardner, real quick, I mean, he's one of the best backup quarterbacks you can find in the league. So, if your rookie starter that you're trying to develop goes down like they did, Richardson did for the Colts, you got somebody that's definitely capable of holding down the fort. In terms of the running backs, I mean, Zach Moss has been absolutely outstanding, especially ever since he left the Bills. Okay, the Bills did not use him to his capabilities, and the Colts are now doing that. But then now you got a situation where they paid their first round pick. You know what I mean? So what's gonna happen now in terms of carries? You got to give the guy that you did a business decision, you made a business decision, more touches. Is Zach Moss a guy that you start this week? I have a list of like 5 other names that we'll get to when we start talking about fantasy. and whether, is Moss, do you start those guys over Moss or what? It's gonna be tough, but I think Moss and kid is escaping my name, the running back that got paid, but I think they both get. I think between the both of them, I think I see 35 to 40 touches. So that's definitely going to be a running game situation if they keep it close with the Jaguars. As far as Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, man, Trevor is actually having a great season, Germ. They're just not producing enough touchdowns. They're not scoring enough. So be interesting to see what if the Colts are going to be able to kind of keep them out of the end zone and keep this game close. You muted, puppy.
It seems to be the whole divisions thing right there where they don't score enough points. That's the divisional thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like in this game right here, you lost by 8 points. You couldn't score enough points to beat Baltimore, and you stopped them in the red zone consistently the entire game. That right there is another classic instance of we still haven't done all the things that we can do to try to make the situation easier on ourselves. But neither here nor there. The problem that we have ultimately when it comes down to all of this for these teams, it's just consistency. That's our problem. And that's going to be the key. So Jonathan Taylor is probably the most consistent football player for the Colts on the offensive side of the football. You have him back in the mix. That's the key thing. I like what they have there. I like what we're doing over there right now. In this particular game, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my pick. I think I want to pick the Jags today. That's all I could say.
What do you see in terms of touches for Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss? 35 plus?
I think in this game in particular, the hardest thing to figure out is it's going to depend on where the Colts start and where they fit. It's going to be contingent on the start.
Yeah.
If the Colts start out in a situation where they get them trailing early and they want to get into their rushing attack and really start forcing the ball down the field via the rush, that is not going to bode well for the opposing team, and then that in turn will give us the game probably that they deserve, which is multiple carries on both ends and everybody, pretty much for the lack of better terms, being able to play their game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with the Jags, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts win this game. Again, another one of those tight, possible low-scoring games, somewhere around 2017 type of thing. Again, just a lot of running. I would like to see both these teams definitely establish the run. We'll see what exactly happens. Of course, it's football, but I expect both running backs to get a lot of carries.
All right, so my bad, y'all. Next game on the docket, you got Seahawks Bengals. We talked about it, man. Bengals got right. The Seahawks are still a competitive football team, but I fully expect Cincy to be at home this week to a West Coast team coming in. T. Higgins is questionable, but that's all right. That's nothing to worry about unless you're in fantasy. He still might come in, still might make an impact, but I would stay away from him fantasy-wise. I'm gonna go with the Bengals to continue to stack on success. So give me the Bengals by 6. Give me the Bengals by 6.
Only crazy thing that can happen with T. Higgins is that he comes in for like 5 plays and they're all at the goal line and he gets fucking 2 touchdowns and shit out of the goal line. But that's happened every once in a blue moon, 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Definitely give me the Bengals and continue just because of the simple fact that they got a great roster. And it's great for the league for them to be, available at the end of the season. Let's just say like that. So, give me the Bengals definitely to win this game. I can do without the Seahawks at the end of the year. As petty as that sounds.
All right.
Bengals.
What'd you say?
Bengals.
Okay, I like it. This next game, this is another one. Potential game of the week, fellas. Detroit Lions at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Over under 42.5, -3 for Detroit. Both teams playing well. Both teams doing good things. Both quarterbacks playing above expectations. Defense is not bad. Good football teams here, Vic.
You know, I must say, as a Baker fan, he is playing up to my expectations. No, so no, I mean, no, it's a great.
No. Talk your shit. Talk your shit. It's okay. It's okay. Talk your shit.
Listen, it's a great. I mean, point there. Like this is a. I had a rough time choosing this game. You look at both teams. Both quarterbacks are playing. Better than they've shown in recent years, per se. Even though they're both first overall picks. Let's not forget about that. And then both teams play some good defense. Both teams have some talent in the backfield, have some talent at the receiver position. This definitely should be a fun game, Mo. I'll be disappointed. Actually, I'll be disappointed if both these teams come out flat, looking like shit, and it's a bad game.
I agree.
Give me Baker. Just give me Baker in the Bucks, man. I just, you know what I mean? Let me get Baker in the Bucks. Let him continue to bake a little bit. That's all. I'll take him.
I like it. Germ?
Give me the Lions.
So I'm actually going to take the Lions too, and I just think Detroit is going to be a team to reckon with in the NFC. Like they're going to spoil. They're going to spoil some parades. I think that defense is good. The one thing I will be interested in seeing today is how successful will the Lions be in play action. Because obviously they got Devin White and Levante David. The weird part about it, though, is that the Buccaneers' run defense is not very good right now. And so with that being said, I do think Detroit is going to be able to exploit some things and just make a couple more plays, a couple more easy plays, I'll say, rather than the Buccaneers. Let's transition right into it to the fantasy starts and sits of the week. I'm going to keep it real simple. My biggest fantasy start, just from a PPR perspective, he's a little under the radar. I don't think he's going to be the most point scoring, but the one that I'm plugging into most of my leagues is going to be Chris Godwin. I think he's looking at a 10 to 12 reception type of game, and hopefully he delivers that. My fantasy sit of the week, as much as I like everything they're doing and a lot of their players, is the Houston Texans offensive unit as a staff, label, and crew. Vic.
Well, real quick, I mean, speaking of the running game, shout out to David Montgomery. Has been outstanding for the Lions. I think he continues that this week, even though with those great linebackers, they have just not been great at stopping the run. So give me David Montgomery to continue. He got Jamari Gibbs, who is hurt, the first round pick for the Lions. He's been hurt. He has been inconsistent, and David has taken every opportunity there to basically take over that backfield. So give me David Montgomery to continue his path. Now, real quick, folks, I mean, I got a list of names here, a lot of pickups for folks that are debating who to start. You got Amari DeMarco starting for the Cardinals, running back. He's going to get the start after the injury to the first team running back. You got Chuba Hubbard starting for the Panthers. And then you got Deontay Foreman starting for the Bears. So those are three names right there that, it's tough to choose from right now. But I think I'm going to choose Amari DeMarco from the Cardinals. I think he had an outstanding game last week when he came in, in the game. So for folks looking for a running back, again, Amari DeMarco. DeMarcado. He actually has a Spanish name. So Amari DeMarcado, look up if you haven't picked him up yet. And he's available in your fantasy, in your fantasy leagues, pick him up. And then I think Cooper Kupp shows up this week. Mo, I think Cooper Kupp, coming back from injury, I think it's a big game for him this week. And in terms of sits, man, I got Nico Collins, just tough matchup like we talked about with the Saints, and Keenan Allen. I think the Cowboys, even though Keenan has been top 5 fantasy, I think the Cowboys do a good job focusing on him this week.
That's interesting. That's an interesting one. Germ. Germ is not here at the moment. We should wait for Jim to return.
You might have gotten a.
Yes.
Hello.
So for all of the fantasy names that Vic already gave, because I was trying to keep up with him real quick, and I couldn't.
Mhm.
But with everything being said, I would say a good fantasy start this week is I like Kittle this week against Cleveland.
Good one.
I think Kittle is a good one against Cleveland this week because I think that he'll be the guy that obviously gets some touches with a 1B being Debo. Anybody that you can get the ball in space and try to make them have to tackle consistently is who I would be focused on this week because we've seen Pickens get a nice 71-yard touchdown. Yards after the catch, I think is going to be the key to this game against the Browns this week for that team. Some sit players, Amari Cooper. I'm going to stick to that game. I would sit Amari Cooper. I would sit all the Cleveland Browns players because I don't really know too much about what they're going to do against that defense. And do we need anything else? You need another fantasy sleeper or anything like that?
No, we're about to go with the who we think is going to be the best performing player / unit this week. Vic, you ready to go kick this one off?
So you talking about defensive units, right? So like
player or unit on both sides.
Player of the week.
Player of the week or unit of the week, whatever one you decide. Who do you think is going to be the
Well, okay. So for offense, give me Kyron Williams, running back for the Rams.
Okay.
They committed to him. He's been outstanding. They even traded Akers away, who was a talented running back. Give me Kyron Williams to run all over the Cardinals. Let's see if I'm right with that one. And then in terms of the defense, I'm taking the Falcons as a whole. I think the Falcons defense is a nice streaming defense this week. And I think they're gonna shut the Commanders down. I could be wrong. Jerome could be right about the Commanders this week, but I think the Falcons defense has a lot of speed that's gonna give the Commanders some problems. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah. Term.
How about the Eagles? How about we say that the Eagles offensive line and DeAndre Swift have a great game this week. And we come back after that and we say for defense, give me the Lions. I think they'll be able to put some pressure on Baker this week. Give me the Lions and Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay. So I'm gonna go a little different route here. I'm gonna go with two players. I'm gonna go with Zach Moss. I know Jonathan Taylor's supposed to get the touches. I know he's probably getting back to health, but I just think they're gonna keep it going with Zach Moss until they feel Jonathan Taylor is fully back and healthy and ready to roll. And I think it's gonna create a very interesting combo moving forward for this team. So give me Zach Moss. Tough matchup today, I know, but I'm still going with Zach Moss. And number two, people kind of been waiting on this guy to have a day to come to life. I think today he comes to life, coming off a performance where, people were basically making him a meme, and you don't make 99 a meme. So give me Aaron Donald as the boss dog defensive player of the week. All right. We got about 5 minutes left. I got to finish my FanDuel thingy-majingies here because kickoff is soon. Anything we want to say, anything we want to add, fellas, before we take it away? I see you in the comment section here. My battery is running low and I can't get my computer to plug in and charge. So I might fall out. If I do, but I don't know. We'll see. Fellas, any closing thoughts?
Shout out to everybody in the comments, man. Thank you for the support. Just a lot of good defensive matchups might be this week, low scoring games, but I like to see some running game and some defense wake up this week, like the old NFL used to be.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Germ, take us home.